It's only been 2.5 years, and you're right. I haven't gotten in an argument.
Yeah. All right.
Never once.
Travis Kelce's latest podcast confession is sweeter than fiction. The athlete insisted he and fiancée Taylor Swift never argue as he chatted with George Clooney on an episode of New Heights.
The revelation landed not with a tabloid bang, but in the easy, brotherly banter of a podcast studio. On a recent episode of New Heights, Travis Kelce, amidst conversation with his brother Jason and their legendary guest George Clooney, offered a glimpse into his private world with Taylor Swift that has since captivated the public imagination. The claim was startling in its simplicity. In 2.5 years together, they have never had a single argument. In an era where celebrity relationships are often dissected for signs of turbulence, this admission feels like a narrative anomaly. It's a statement that invites skepticism, admiration, and intense curiosity. How does a couple navigating the most blinding of global spotlights, with careers operating at their respective peaks, manage not just harmony, but a complete absence of conflict? Travis's casual confirmation, inspired by Clooney's own decade-long claim of marital peace, wasn't offered as a boast, but as a humble observation. "I haven't gotten into an argument, never once," he said, almost marveling at it himself. George Clooney, the elder statesman in this discussion of serene unions, provided a philosophical framework that Travis visibly latched onto. "Neither of us are going to win the argument, so why get in?" Clooney mused, distilling a lifetime of experience into a pragmatic, peacekeeping motto. "I've met this incredible woman, and I can't believe how lucky I am. So what am I going to fight about?" For Travis, listening to this was a masterclass. "I'm just taking notes this whole time, big guy," he responded, acknowledging the transfer of wisdom from one generation of fame to another. This moment of intergenerational rapport between Kelce and Clooney is more than a cute podcast soundbite. It's a key to understanding the potential mindset at play. It suggests a conscious choice, a prioritization of partnership over the need to be right. Clooney's perspective speaks to a maturity that comes from knowing what truly matters, a maturity that Travis, at 34, appears to be actively cultivating rather than stumbling upon by accident. It reframes their lack of arguments not as a lack of passion or difference of opinion, but as the possible results of a shared, preemptive decision. This is not our battleground. To fully grasp the weight of this claim, we must rewind to the very public, slightly awkward origins of this now famously conflict-free romance. The timeline, now clarified by Travis's 2.5 years comment, points to a spark in the summer of 2023. This places their quiet beginning just after Travis's now infamous failed attempt to connect at her Eras Tour show in July, where he hoped to give her a friendship bracelet with his number. That moment of very public, slightly bummed out vulnerability from the 6'5" type end was our first real hint of his earnest pursuit. It was a gamble, a shot in the dark that could have fizzled into a funny anecdote. Instead, it became the prologue. By September, the world watched in real time as the narrative flipped. Taylor Swift, the master of controlling her own story, made a surprise appearance in the box at Arrowhead Stadium, cheering alongside Travis's mother, Donna. The internet exploded. The era of trailer or swells was officially, chaotically upon us. Their relationship didn't unfold, it detonated into the cultural consciousness, immediately becoming the most scrutinized love story on the planet. Every glance, every handhold, every post-game kiss was analyzed. In this pressure cooker, the idea of a private, calm, argument-free space seems not just impressive, but necessary for survival. The nature of their individual careers provides both the greatest potential for friction and the most compelling reasons to avoid it. Travis's life is governed by the brutal, physical calendar of the NFL, a world of training camps, grueling travel, and the intense, hyper-focused pressure of game days that define entire weeks. Taylor's world is the Eras Tour, a staggering, record-shattering global enterprise that is equal parts artistic marathon, logistical miracle, and cultural phenomenon. their time together is, by necessity, fragmented and precious, often carved out in the narrow windows between tour legs and football seasons. When you have limited time, the calculus of how to spend it changes dramatically. A disagreement that might simmer for days in a conventional relationship doesn't have the same luxury of time here. The incentive is powerfully aligned toward resolution, toward connection, toward joy. It's plausible that their lifestyle forces a kind of radical efficiency in communication. There simply isn't time for protracted drama. Issues must be addressed directly and constructively or let go in favor of savoring the moment. This isn't to say their bond is transactional, but that the external structure of their lives may encourage the very habits that prevent arguments from taking root. Furthermore, both are at the pinnacle of their professions. They each understand, in a way almost no one else can, the unique pressures of performing at that level, of carrying the expectations of millions, of having every move dissected. This shared understanding creates a fundamental empathy. Travis doesn't need to explain the agony of a loss or the pressure of a playoff game. Taylor gets it. Taylor doesn't need to articulate the exhaustion of a 3.5-hour show or the weight of constant commentary. Travis gets it. This mutual, lived-in comprehension of each other's professional realities creates a sanctuary. They are each other's refuge from the storm, not a source of new weather. This dynamic stands in stark contrast to the traditional narrative often imposed on celebrity couples, particularly those involving a powerful woman. The tabloid playbook is familiar. It predicts jealousy over past relationships, tension over competing schedules, friction between fan bases, and ultimately, a dramatic split fueled by the pressures of fame. Travis and Taylor have systematically and seemingly effortlessly subverted every one of these tropes. Look at the handling of their public personas. They have not hidden, nor have they excessively performed. They attend each other's events not as a staged PR move, but as supportive partners. Travis dances unabashedly in the VIP tent at Eras Tour shows. Taylor braves the cold in Chiefs Red, surrounded by his family and friends. They have integrated their worlds without attempting to merge them into one ambiguous blob. He has his lane, she has hers. They cross over to cheer, not to compete. This respect for each other's independent, massive kingdoms likely eliminates a huge swath of potential conflict rooted in insecurity or territorialism. Then there is the crucial element of their support systems. The Kelce family, Donna, Ed, and Jason, have welcomed Taylor not as an icon, but as Travis's girlfriend with a warmth and normalcy that disarms the spectacle. Jason's wife, Kylie, has become a consistent, grounding presence in the suite. On Taylor's side, her tight-knit squad of friends and her parents have embraced Travis with similar ease. This seamless integration means they are not fighting against their families for acceptance or understanding. The foundation around them is solid, unified, and joyful. A couple is not an island, and the health of the surrounding ecosystem is vital. They have built, or rather found themselves within, an ecosystem that supports their peace. We must also consider the phase of life in which they found each other. Travis was 33 when they began dating, Taylor 33. These are not the ages of tumultuous, exploratory early adulthood. Both had lived full public lives. Both had experienced high-profile relationships. Both had achieved monumental, legacy-defining success entirely on their own. They came together not looking for someone to complete them, but as two complete, self-actualized individuals choosing to share their already rich lives. This maturity changes the emotional equation. The stakes of a petty argument are lower when your sense of self isn't tied to the relationship. There's less to prove, less to lose, and a greater appreciation for finding a genuine connection after years in the public eye. Clooney's wisdom on the podcast returns here with force. What am I gonna argue about at this point? This is the sentiment of a man who has seen it all, done it all, and knows what truly holds value. Travis's eager note-taking suggests he is arriving at a similar conclusion, just on a faster track. The things that might cause friction in younger relationships, differences in social circles, uncertainty about the future, competing ambitions, simply don't carry the same weight for them. Their ambitions are aligned in spirit, a drive for excellence, but not in direct competition. Their social circles have merged. Their future, while surely privately discussed, is built on the stable ground of two established empires. Of course, the notion of never fighting is often met with raised eyebrows. In popular psychology, conflict is seen as healthy, even necessary for growth. It's important to define terms. Travis said they haven't had an argument. This likely doesn't mean the absence of disagreement or discussion. It almost certainly means the absence of heated, hurtful, unproductive fights. It suggests a communication style that circumvents the classic blow-up. This could be through proactive communication, addressing small irritants before they become big issues. Or it could be through a shared high degree of emotional intelligence and conflict avoidance, picking battles with extreme care. Or, as Clooney implied, it could be through a simple, powerful filter. If no one wins, why start the game? Their public actions consistently demonstrate this teamwork. Watch them navigate a stadium tunnel after a game. It's a well-coordinated, wordless dance. A touch on the back, a shared glance, a unified front against the chaos. They are a unit. This synergy speaks to a deep, non-verbal understanding. They have become experts at reading each other's cues in high-pressure environments, a skill that no doubt translates to their private life. They likely have a shorthand, a way of signaling, "I'm stressed," or "I need a minute," that prevents misunderstandings from escalating. As we look forward, this conflict-free foundation positions them uniquely. They are building a relationship narrative for the public that is refreshingly dull in the best possible way. There is no will they, won't they drama, no rumor mill churn of breakups and makeups. The story they are offering is one of consistent, quiet, joyful stability. In a world addicted to chaos, their peace is their most radical act. It's a blueprint that resonates because it feels aspirational yet grounded. It's not a fairy tale of perfect people, but a case study in mature choice. They have chosen each other, and then they continually choose understanding over friction, support over scorekeeping, and partnership over pride. Travis Kelce taking notes from George Clooney wasn't just a funny line. It was a metaphor. He is learning, and with Taylor actively building a love that isn't defined by dramatic fights and reconciliations, but by the steady, day-to-day commitment to not letting the noise in, whether it's from the outside world or from within their own partnership. In the end, their secret might not be a secret at all. It might be the obvious yet incredibly difficult art of prioritizing the person over the problem, the connection over the conflict. And in the blinding glare of their twin spotlights, that choice shines brighter than any rumor or headline ever could. They haven't just found love, they appear to have built a fortress of peace around it, and for now, not a single argument has breached the walls.